Hello! In this video I'll show you how to make an arm knit cowl out of the super chunky wool. So for this project you will need a ball of Nitka super chunky wool. You might need a wool needle and the scissors for weaving in ends. And of course you would need your hands. That's it. No needles, no nothing. To get started, slip the band off the yarn. Then pull any strand that you see from outside the ball, and that will eventually lead you to the yarn tail. Take a bit of yarn so that later on you would be comfortable making your stitches. And it all starts with a slip knot. So make a loop with the yarn that comes from the ball on top of the yarn tail. Then place the loop on top of the working yarn. Take the strand in the middle and the yarn tail and pull it up to make your first stitch. We don't have needles, just our hands. And you put that stitch on your left hand. Pull the working yarn a bit to make the stitch smaller, but don't make it too tight. For cast on, the stitches should be a bit loose, like this. Okay, now take the yarn in your palm of the left hand. Then the right hand goes inside the stitch, and with your right fingers you grab the yarn and pull it out. That's the stitch number 2. Put it back on the wrist. Now you do the same thing. Hold the yarn, go inside the stitch, take the yarn, pull it out, place it on the wrist. To make a nice looking scarf, a nice looking cowl, you would need 10 stitches. If you want the cowl to be closer to your neck and fuller, you can go with 14 stitches. That usually gives you a nice size. If you want it to be skinnier and hanging as a loop, then you can decrease the number of stitches and go with, say, 8 stitches. So depending on how you want your cowl to look, you cast on more stitches. I will be making this cowl on 10 stitches, so I will make loops up until I have 10 strands on my wrist. And now we have 8. Okay, the loop number 9 and 10. Okay, 10 stitches on the wrist, and now we are ready to start actually knitting. Again, no needles, just your arms. Before you start a row, take more yarn, because when you're in the middle of the row and have stitches on your wrists, it's not very comfortable to grab the yarn. So let's do it before we start the row. Now what you need to do, you need to take the yarn so that the tail that goes to the yarn, to the ball, is next to your pinky. So take it in such a way that the tail goes from the pinky side, okay? Just like this. And now when you hold the yarn, you take the first loop with your right hand and simply pull it over and let it go, drop it. Okay, now you place this loop that you created with the yarn on your right hand. Do it again. Grab the yarn, take the loop, pull it over, and place it on your right hand. See, these stitches are very loose. When you have 2 stitches on your right hand or left, when you started the row, then pull the yarn to make them tight. When the stitches are too loose, it would be loopy and it won't be nice. So try to use the thinnest part of your wrist and to make stitches really tight. See, these are really tight on my wrist. Okay, now let's do it again. Take the yarn. Again, the tail is on the pinky side. Take the yarn, hold it, and pull the stitch over and place it back on the right wrist and pull it tight. Being tight means your scarf will look nice. And do it again. Hold the yarn, pull the stitch over, make it tight. Hold the yarn, pull the stitch, make it tight, and keep going until you have no stitches on your left hand. That's it. The first row is complete. I pull the yarn tight to make the stitches really tight, and now we can see the first row is already here, right? You can see some of the scarf here underneath your wrist. That means you've done a great job. Congratulations. Now let's move on to row number 2. We do the same thing. So you take the yarn so that the tail goes from your pinky side. So see, that's the tail that goes. And yeah, of course, before we start the row, we need to take more yarn. Okay, now hold the yarn and you do same thing. Take the stitch and pull it over and let it go. Now place this new stitch on your left wrist. That's how it works. Again, you take the yarn, the tail comes from the pinky side, then you pull the stitch over and place it on the wrist. 2 stitches on the wrist, that means it's time to tighten it up. Make it really tight. I mean, not that it hurts you, of course, but try to be on the tight side, okay? And keep going. Get the yarn, tail comes from the pinky side, pull it over, and tighten it up. And that's how you work. You just move the stitches from one hand to the other for as long as you have the yarn. It's hard to tell how many rows you would go because every one of us has a different size of the wrist. But I'm sure that one ball of yarn will give you a pretty decent size of the cowl. If you want to make it bigger, just add another ball and that would be it. But for now, you just keep moving stitches from left hand to the right hand and then back to the left hand, and the cowl will be growing right underneath your hand. Another thing that you need to pay attention at, when you start a row with your stitches on your left hand, for the whole row you will be holding yarn in your left hand. If you start a row and your stitches are here, then for the whole row your yarn should be in the right hand when you start, when you knit, when you pull the stitches over. Because sometimes it could be confusing, you might get confused which way to go, because both of your hands are in the process and might be a bit confusing. So remember, when you are in the middle of the row and you don't know where to put this yarn, then just think, okay, where my stitches were when I started the row, they were right here. That means I'm holding yarn in this hand. And keep going until you have almost no yarn left. And at that time, we'll be just finishing it off. It should take you about 20 minutes, maybe less, maybe more, but not really long. And if there is something urgent that you need to take care of, it's totally possible to take your stitches off your hands, just one by one, take them off and put them on a needle, on a stick, on a hanger, or on anything basically, on a doorknob. Just make sure when you put them back on your hands and continue knitting that you use them in the same sequence and you didn't twist them or misplace them or drop them. But for now, just keep knitting. Okay, I'm almost out of yarn. See, that's all I have left. And I would stop because I think that's time to finish off the scarf. How do you know whether you have enough yarn? So open up the scarf and try to measure it with the yarn that you have left. You should have about 2 times the width of the scarf to finish it off. So I have about that much yarn, so I'm gonna stop knitting, and now I'm gonna create a cowl out of this piece of knitted fabric, which is actually quite nice looking, right? And all soft and chunky. So what you need to do, depending on which hand you finished, so which hand you have the stitches on, try to visualize the scarf kind of folding it like this. Okay, and try not to twist it because this scarf is not supposed to be twisted. You can play with that, of course, you can try and twist it, but it's better not. So then place your cast on edge, the edge when we just cast on the initial set of stitches, and open up that initial set of stitches. See, I have those holes here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the 10th would be somewhere over here, I guess. Okay, so now we have those 10 stitches that we cast on, and ignore the tail, and we have 10 stitches over here. So we need to stitch them together. We won't be binding off stitches because it gives you a thicker ridge and it also uses up the yarn, right? We'd rather use the yarn for the scarf itself than for binding off. So when you open up the stitches, what you need to do? You need to take your tail and insert it into the first stitch, the first hole that you have. If it's not exactly the stitch that you cast on, no big deal, because it's all loopy, so don't really get obsessed about it. Okay, so you insert the tail inside that hole, right? You hold it in the hand that has stitches on it, and then you pull the first stitch over, just like this. See, our first stitch is joined to the first hole that we found here. That's the whole idea of what we're gonna do. Now find another hole, the next one. It's right here for me. Then place the yarn in there, hold it in the hand that has stitches on it, and pull a stitch off the hand. Let's do it again. The hole number 3, right here. You insert the tail in there all the way through, then hold it in the hand that has stitches on it and pull one of the stitches off. See what's happening? We are joining stitches to those holes. And keep going until you have no more stitches left on your hand and your scarf is joined into a cowl. Yeah, that's it for me. So now all stitches are joined to the cast on edge, and it's not a scarf anymore, it's a cowl. So before you secure the yarn, you need to pull it sideways to make sure you have enough yarn over here, that it's not all jammed. Okay, and when you're happy with how it looks, then you go back to the place where you joined your last stitch and secure the yarn the usual way as you would normally do. You make an extra loop and insert the tail into that loop and pull tight. That's it. Now the cowl is all good. We just have to take care of those ends that are hanging and not looking nice, right? So what you need to do, because the yarn is so thick, First of all, I would trim it a bit because this tail is longer than I needed. And because the yarn is so thick, if you just weave it in, it will just get out, and because the holes are big and the yarn is thick, right? But we need to secure it. So to do that, see, the yarn is composed of 2 plies that are twisted. So go in there and undo the plies. Just basically split the yarn. Then take one of the plies, thread it into a wool needle, and hide it inside the seam or inside the yarn. So split the yarn as much as you like, go inside, and just snake the needle somewhere inside that seam that we've just created. Pull it through and cut the excess yarn. I know it's tempting to just cut those tails, put the scarf on, and be warm and happy. But if you do that, the chances are your hard work may unravel, and it's not exactly what you need, right? Not when you're wearing it and it's falling apart. So it's better to take that extra time to hide the tails, and then you won't have to worry about the scarf unraveling or about having loose ends hanging or any other problems like that. You would just be happy and warm wearing it. Okay, 2 ends are done. Now we move on to the other side and do same thing. Trim the tail a bit, so that's at about 4 inches. That's the comfortable length. Split the yarn and hide each end separately inside the seam. Now that the tails are hidden and the scarf is all joined into a cowl, that's when you can put it on and feel warm and happy. Happy knitting!